Hey folks, welcome to this week's Family Ministry Moment. Oh, and welcome to 2025. Happy New Year if I haven't seen you at church yet and haven't been able to wish you that myself. Wow, I can't believe the holidays are already gone. The kids are back at school and it's already 2025. That's amazing. You know, I'm not a big believer in resolutions and stuff like that, mostly because I've noticed for me, they don't really accomplish much. They don't really pay off. Some people would argue because I don't follow through on my things. Really, it's not about whether I commit to a project or commit to a new thing. I don't look at New Year's as a new way to start life. I feel like you do something when you're ready, regardless of whether it's a new year or not. For some of us, having a calendar change can help launch that. I know lots of folks who commit to things for their birthdays and say this year is going to be different for me, and some folks do it on the New Year's, and New Year's resolutions mean a lot to them, and it works for them. Go you, that's great. I know for me that's never worked. For me, it's got about me being able to be ready, and I've noticed that lately I've been taking toll of just accepting who I am. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I just had a birthday a few weeks ago, and my family loves to poke fun at the fact that I can never remember birthdays. All my students always joke about that too, and I had some previous students text me and say, hey, don't forget you're 43 now, and so I get a giggle out of it because it's true. I never really remember how old I am, and but I'm recognizing now that I am a little bit older, there's some things that my body just can't do. I recognize that after this, I just had a lock-in with the teens, with the youth group kids, and I recognize that it was a little bit harder to bounce back than it has been years before. Now, I'm able to get through the lock-in, no problem. I was able to stay awake all night without an issue. But I noticed the next couple of days weren't as easy. Not like they used to be. So, all right, maybe I'm not in my 20s anymore, so that's true. I'm also realizing that, my vision's not the greatest, that it's always been. I've always had contact, not always. I started getting contacts and glasses when I'm in my late 20s. But I've noticed recently that it's getting harder to read certain things or to do certain things like I used to do just last year. And so I'm like, wow, things are changing. And I guess part of that is me having to accept that things are changing, because I can't improve what I need to change if I don't accept the way that I currently am. And one of the things that I've been trying to do more of lately is recognizing the things that I'm not good at, or the things that I am flawed at, whether physically, right? Or whether just, skills that I've tried to get that I'm just not that great at, that I have to put a ton of energy to make work. And I've realized, you know what? It's probably best if I instead help equip other people to do the things that I can't do well. If it's a job thing, right? Or if it's a home thing, I am not a plumber. I'm not going to try to do that. Now, can I fix my sink if I had to? Probably. Will it take me 3 days? Yeah, probably 3 weeks. But could I call a plumber and get that done quickly? Absolutely. Right? It's not a thing that I am absolutely skilled at. I could screw it up pretty well, but will I be able to fix it? Probably not. Now, if it's helping someone solve a relational issue, if it's having to write a paper or to read a story and to work it out and to talk about it, yeah, that's me, man. I could do that all day. That kind of stuff I love to do, right? Do I love hanging out with people during their troubled times and being support systems? Yeah, that's me. That's my job. That's what I love to do. But those kinds of other stuff, not always my bag. So I gotta know when I gotta phone it in, right? And I gotta phone somebody to help fix a problem. And that's something that I've been working on a lot more. And not just in the new year, just in general. And so my challenge to you is to look at what are some things in your life that you just need to accept. What is it that you realize you're not the greatest at? And just accept it. Learn to work with it, right? I realized I've had to do that a lot. And I've had to do that more so over the course of the last few years. And it's important for us to all take toll of our lives and recognize the things we cannot do, and let the friends and the community around us help us to do them. And we have to let God help us in that. There's this really good scripture in Deuteronomy.
We're going to be looking at Deuteronomy chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Now, I'm sure some of you will find these familiar. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength is similar to the commandment Jesus reminded the people when they asked him, what is the most important commandment? And Jesus said, you remember the commandments written to us. And he was talking about this specific part in Deuteronomy, reminding us that our response to God is to love our God with all that we have. Going on in verse 7, it says, impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the doorframes of your houses and on your gates. When the Lord your God brings you into the land he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you, a land with large, flourishing cities you did not build, houses filled with all kinds of good things that you did not provide, wells that you did not dig, and vineyards and olive groves you did not plant. Then, when you eat and are satisfied, be careful that you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery.
And that passage in Deuteronomy is a really great, important lesson for us. Yeah, the writer wrote it to the Israelites to remind them that the Lord, their God, was protecting them, was taking care of them, was providing for them this entire time. And that they should not forget to thank God, to love God, and to always keep that in mind that God has provided for them. God has taken care of them, even when they weren't seeing it. Now, I know for me, life isn't always going to be easy, and it hasn't been. There's been tons of challenges. Y'all have heard many of them in these videos, and so many of you who know me personally know that life has had its challenges. And I know a lot of you, and I know that your life has had quite a few challenges. But it doesn't mean God's not there providing for us, right? God isn't removing all the challenges in our lives. God's a support system when our life brings us challenges, when things aren't easy. God helps provide people around us that care about us. God provides teachers to help us learn ways to get out of these situations, whether they're counselors, whether they're therapists, whether they're friends, whether they're family. God provides support systems for us. He helps us learn the lessons we need to get through life. He helps us give us the tools we need to get through life. It's not always about just God miraculously paving the way. Sometimes God needs to help train us and equip us to be able to pave our own way. And it's important for us, not just in the new year, but every day, to take toll of our lives, to accept who we are, that we are God's beloved, that we are created in his image, that we are created wonderful. And we need to remember that God is continuing to provide for us. And with that provision, with the knowing that God provides for us and takes care of us, let's look to the people around us to help make our lives better. And in that way, we can help them make their lives better, right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Life is always better with community. Get the people around you together so that you can help one another to do life so much better. In that light, I hope to see you on Sunday. It'd be great to catch up with all our friends on Sunday at either the 9 or the 11:15 service. And of course, for 10 o'clock for Sunday school, we'd love to see all of our students. And of course, all of our youth at 4 o'clock on Sunday night. So this is Manu. Hope to see you soon this weekend.